live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Lounge Time. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we are back to our normal scheduled programming. We have Week 10 NFL picks. We have Week 11 college football. We also have the first rankings of the college football playoff, which I am going to go over some brief thoughts on who benefits and who has probably a tough road that might be in trouble based on where they're slotted at. So, there's not a lot of college football that I am like game-wise picking. So let's start with the college football rankings. Because I think if you're a team on the outside looking in, you have a really, really good shot. And I'm going to outline this in just a moment. Okay? So let's go over the top 25 rankings based on the first college football playoff poll released on Tuesday night. So the top four, I don't think anybody should be surprised over. Ohio State's 1, Indiana's 2, Texas A&M's 3, Alabama's 4, Georgia's 5. So basically the same as the AP poll from Sunday. No surprise. 6 through 9 is actually a little different. Ole Miss is 6 in the college football playoff poll. BYU is 7, Texas Tech is 8, Oregon's 9, and then it's almost the exact reverse in the AP poll, but that's the committee's pick for Tuesday. So again, Ole Miss 6, BYU 7, Texas Tech 8, Oregon 9. Then it's almost accurate a little bit. Well, this one is. Notre Dame at 10, they both had at 10. Then it's where it gets different. Texas is 11 in the college football playoff poll. Oklahoma's 12, Utah's 13, Virginia's 14, Louisville is 15, Vanderbilt is 16, Georgia Tech is 17. Now, all of those teams from 11 to 17 are definitely in a different order compared to the AP poll on Sunday and the playoff rankings on Tuesday. But I'm only giving you the playoff rankings. Miami is at 18, USC is 19, Iowa's 20, Michigan 21, Missouri at 22, Washington at 23, Pitt at 24, Tennessee Vols, the highest ranked 3-loss team, at 25. So, you're probably like, Rich, what are your thoughts on the rankings? Well, I think the top 4, I have no issue with at all. I'm not even mad that Georgia's 5. Not even mad at all. They factored in that Georgia beat Ole Miss. Fine. Perfectly okay. BYU's unbeaten over a 1-loss Ole Miss. I might have a little gripe with it, but I'm not entirely mad about that. Texas Tech as the second best 1-loss team over Oregon. Well, I'm not going to gripe about that either because BYU and Texas Tech play this Saturday, and somebody's either going to move down regardless. So BYU's either going to move down or Tech's going to move down, and that's how I look at it. So I'm not mad at the 7-8 rankings because they're going to basically play each other. Oregon I'm going to save for something later. Notre Dame at 10, the highest 2-loss team. I've been saying it that they are the best 2-loss team because they are a different team now than they were early in the year. Now, I know Miami losing to Louisville and SMU isn't great. And I know A&M is a good loss for them because A&M's top 3. Miami obviously is a long shot to make it. A lot of people think Miami should be ahead of Notre Dame because of the head-to-head matchup from week 1. I wouldn't be mad at people, but I would say Miami has worse losses than Notre Dame has. Well, Rich, Notre Dame lost to Miami head-to-head. Yeah, but Miami lost to 2 unranked teams. Notre Dame lost to 2 ranked teams at the time, both in the top, I believe it was top 10. So I have no issue with that at all, although some people might say otherwise. Then you got, in the actual bracket, Virginia is the 11 because they would be the winners of the ACC based on the committee's eyes. And then Memphis, who is not ranked in the top 25 according to the college football playoff bracket, is the 12 seed that would play Georgia, which that's going to be an interesting group of 5 team that somehow gets in. Let's go over who I think benefits a lot, okay? I think the team that benefits, honestly, is surprisingly, and people are going to think I'm a little nuts about this, I think anybody below 12 benefited greatly. What, Rich? You're out of your mind. Hear me out. Hear me out. Virginia and Louisville, they're going to play each other in the ACC championship game, barring any of them choke. And Virginia's kind of inventing ways to kind of choke a little bit. But Louisville beat number 2 Miami at the time. And they're not a bad team either. Okay, I've been saying they were one of my sleepers this year. And I think Louisville, honestly, Jeff Brom's a hell of a coach. Top 5 upset king. That's what he is. I think they're in a good spot. I also don't rule out my ACC team that I like, Georgia Tech. Now, I get it. They lost to NC State. I still have faith in this group that they're going to be fine. I think they're going to be okay. This is a very good team that I watched a couple times early in the year, and I was like, dark horse pick to win the ACC. Could still happen. Could still happen. I'm not going to give up on them yet. I think they're going to be fine. Now, Vandy. If you look at the eye test now, Vandy's 2 losses are both a 5-point loss to Alabama and a 3-point loss to Missouri. I believe it was 3 points. Or it was still 1 score. But they beat LSU, which is not ranked, but at the time they were. Vandy's sitting there going, Texas has to play both at Georgia and they're home for A&M. Not a guarantee they win both of those games. Not even one of them. Now, Oklahoma has to play Alabama. Not a guarantee either. Okay? They're sitting going, well, Virginia and Louisville beat up on each other in the ACC. Georgia Tech could even be in play. They're all going to beat each other up. Utah is the one team that I think, honestly, and I know their losses are Tech and BYU, who happen to be beating this weekend. Utah's sitting there going, we're not out of this just yet. And I think those 2 teams greatly benefit because they need chaos. Which, honestly, Texas and Oklahoma might both lose next weekend. And Virginia might lose a game that might knock themselves out. Louisville and Georgia Tech can be in the ACC championship game. And then you're sitting at Vandy and Utah going, if we run the table with our games left to play, we got a really good shot. It's hard to do, but we got a shot. And honestly, Utah's best hope is if Texas Tech were to lose 2 more games, they could sneak in as a low seed. And then here's the kick. You ready for this? People don't want to hear this. Oregon has 2 really tough road games. Really tough road games. Even this weekend at Iowa. Tease for something later. I think Oregon's in real trouble, guys. Because if they lose to Iowa, who, mind you, very good defensive team. They are going to be, without question, a tough match for them. Remember early in the year I said, when Indiana was top 10, I said, take the points with Iowa. Because Iowa's defense, Indiana's coming off a big win against Illinois. Iowa's going to slow them down. And it hit. Could we see something similar to Oregon? Remember, Indiana beat Oregon right after in Oregon in 2 weeks. Okay? So I look at teams, even like USC, that they got to play Oregon too. They got to go to Oregon. That's tough too. I'm sitting there going, if you're USC in Iowa and Oregon's going to play Iowa this Saturday and USC's right after, I'm like, man, if we beat them, that's another top 10 team out. Notre Dame's one loss away from being out. Why not? Why not? Now, I can tell you for sure right now that the top, I'm going to say top 6 are almost guaranteed to make it. I am going to say on the record, I think the top 6 are guaranteed. Even if both of them had two, even if any of them had 2 losses, I think they're all in. They're all in. Okay? I don't see Ohio State losing another game up until maybe the Big Ten champ game with Indiana. And even if Indiana ran the table and lost 1 game, still would be in. A&M, Georgia, Bama, I still think all 3 make it in. Ole Miss has a real good shot to do it if they run the table. So those 6 alone, I think, are in. Now, BYU Tech, depending on this Saturday's matchup, I think one of them is a guarantee. So let's say 7 now. Now, if you throw aside the group of 5 and the ACC winner, you got 3 spots open. And I think, guys, it's coming down to Oregon. It's coming down to Notre Dame. I think Utah. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Vandy. Those are the 4 teams I'm saying keep an eye on. Really, really sleeper picks, USC and Iowa. Depending on how they do with Oregon, they have a real shot. Those 4 to 6 teams, I think, have a really good shot to make a really big jump over the next month, maybe month and a half. And you got to win your games to do it. I'm going to say it again. The top 7, depending on BYU Texas Tech game Saturday, I would say are guaranteed virtually locks, barring a collapse from any one of them. I think all 7 will make it. And I'm saying 7 with the BYU Texas Tech winner in the Big 12. Okay, depending on who wins. That game Saturday and then how the standings go forward, okay? 9 down all the way to 20. Chaos ensues. Oregon could lose 2 games. Notre Dame could lose a game. Texas, Oklahoma both have a tough game next week. Texas has 2 tough games. Utah sitting back, waiting to see what happens in the chaos. Virginia, Louisville, Georgia Tech, 2 of those 3 are going to the ACC championship game. Question is, who is the survival of the fittest out of those 3 teams? One of them is going to get in. Vandy, SC, Iowa are all sitting there going, we're just going to wait for our turn. I think Miami's out. I really do. I think Miami's out. I'm going to almost write them off. I think Miami's out. Okay? I'll say it again. The 6 teams to keep an eye on. Oregon, Notre Dame, Utah, Vanderbilt, SC, Iowa. 2 of those teams could be out in 2 weeks. And we're down to 4. And I'm telling you, those 4, if they listen to this program, according to the Rich Sale theory, you have a shot to make the playoff. But you're going to need a lot of help. You got to win your games, and then you got to hope chaos happens. Which in college football, trust me, guys, November, there will be chaos. Question is, how is the chaos happening? Just sit back and wait. That's my thoughts on the playoff. Again, you can take notes on who Rich Sale said, and then you can either troll me in a month, or you can be like, holy shit, this kid's a genius. I'm not trying to say that to be like an ego or whatever, but I'm just saying, I really do think anybody from 10 down, I think, honestly, is in a great spot. You're like, oh man, we can make a run because of what I just alluded to earlier. Let's go to the college football plays for the weekend. I really don't have a lot of games I want to pick, so I'm just going to kind of keep the game pick short before we go to NFL, and then I'll quickly go through my plays. So let's start with the games. Alabama, LSU. LSU just fired Brian Kelly. Alabama's on a tear right now. I hate this fucking team. Okay, now you're like, Rich, at least your Patriots are doing well. Yeah, I know. They are. I'm happy. But nothing would make me happier from a pure rooting against type perspective if the Chiefs lost, if the Bama bandwagons lost, and the Ohio State bandwagons lost. I despise you all so bad. I fucking hate you guys. The Yankees would be 4, but the Yankees are out in baseball. I don't worry about that till fucking April. Okay? But even then, I'm like, just wait. But the 3 right now, I am begging to lose are Chiefs bandwagons, Ohio State bandwagons, and Alabama bandwagons, who I despise greatly. You're literally the top 3. And any way you slice it, you could be 1, 2, or 3. Honestly, though, Chiefs bandwagons are more annoying now. Alabama is probably 3 because they haven't won in a while, but they're getting annoying. Ohio State's 2 because, bro, I know they won last year, but they think they're so above everybody. And I know they've been playing great. That defense is insane. I warn you, though. You're going to play some teams now, and you better back it up. And God, I would love you guys to lose because I can't stand you guys. So, Chiefs bandwagons 1, the team I hate the most right now. Ohio State, a close 2nd. And the Bama bandwagons are not far behind the 3. Nothing would make me happier to see Alabama lose. Also, Ohio State losing, but they're not losing to Purdue. But Alabama's going to win against LSU 38-17 because LSU has no offensive line. They've been a shell of themselves. That interim coach, boy, you got a handful your first game. I'm just praying that they don't get absolutely blown out like a 45-3 to where I'm like, oh, damn. It's bad. I don't think it will be, though, because it's a rivalry, and LSU is going to play with some pride. Alabama wins 38-17. LSU will not stop Ty Simpson. Trust me, they won't. Texas Tech and BYU. Oof. Okay, now, I looked at the line. Tech is favored by 10 against BYU, and I'm like, woo! That's a big line. That's a big line. Now, I don't want to lay any points this week with Tech. I would say to you, boy, they know my pick really well. I think Tech is going to be all right. I think they're going to beat BYU. I think BYU was due for a loss. I think that Tech, honestly, you have a one loss that happens anyway. The Big 12 beats up on each other. That's okay, though, as long as you bounce back. Arizona State's definitely not going. So, and Texas Tech, that defense, man, I think they're a little better than Utah, and I think they're going to give them fits. I'm going with the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. I think they win. I think they stay in the top 7. I still won't rule them out to win the Big 12. Give me Texas Tech 27-17 over BYU. I think BYU is going to have a hard time scoring. I like Tech to win. I think Morton coming back, that's huge. I think Tech's going to be fine. They're going to reclaim themselves as the top team in the Big 12, and they'll be fine. Okay? Now, Iowa hosts Oregon. A lot of people like Iowa to win. Everybody makes fun of me. Rich, you don't take upsets. You take favorites. It's no fun. Pulling a Lee Corzo. Not so fast. Oregon has not looked good since the Indiana game. Even before that, a little bit, they didn't look all that great against Penn State. They had to come back. Dante Moore in a tough road environment against Iowa. He did answer the call against Penn State, and that was a good defense. He made some plays. Indiana, though, he threw 2 critical interceptions. That ended up being a deciding factor. I told you guys earlier, remember when Rich said to take the points with Iowa against Indiana, and you guys looked at me like, what? Iowa can't score, Rich. They can play defense, though. Oregon, the one weakness with them over the years is they're not a physical team. And I know Lanning's trying to fix that. Kirk Ferentz is a sneaky good defensive coach, and trust me when I say this, Dante Moore, this is a game where I think he struggles. And I think their running game is a little bit up in the air. I think that Iowa is going to start the chaos this Saturday. Give me, and I'm doing it, give me the 6 in the hook with Iowa on Oregon, and I'm taking Iowa to beat Oregon. 20-16, defensive slugfest. Dante Moore struggles. I can't stand their brand of football, but I will tell you right now, I can pick games where I think, you know what? They have a shot to win. And I think Iowa, playing Indiana tough, and Indiana beat Oregon after they played Iowa, I think Oregon is not winning either at Washington, and they're not winning at Iowa. They're going to lose one. I think this is the game they lose. Possibly they could lose both. But I think they lose this week, and the top 10 chaos begins. That's why I said for you teams below 10, you're in a great spot. Really below 12, because I think 11 and 12 are out next week. Give me the Iowa Hawkeyes plus the 6.5, and the Iowa Hawkeyes are going to beat the Oregon Ducks. Guarantee. That's number 1. Now, to my other 2 plays, and this is where one of them, remember what I say, the look-ahead lines. Now, Rich has been pretty good with this at times, okay? Georgia travels to Mississippi State Starkville. Now, Brandon Walker's coming back to the place where he absolutely felt like the sky was falling around him. Now, for those of you that don't know, he's the guy on Barstool that's a Mississippi State fan. I love watching him. He's hysterical, all right? I feel like, you know what? The last 2 times I took Mississippi State as a dog, I think I lost the Texas one and I got the one against Florida. Georgia's looking to Texas next week. Possible look-ahead spot. I'm going to take Mississippi State again with the points as a home dog. I'm going to do it. I'm not saying they're going to beat Georgia. Georgia's in a close game almost every single week, though. And Jeff Lebby's got them in a better spot than they were last year. Give me the 9 in the hook with Mississippi State. This game's going to be a one-score game. Georgia's looking ahead to Texas next week. And Mississippi State came off a big win against Arkansas where they came back. Mississippi State is not that bad. Give me the 9 in the hook with Mississippi State. Now, I am dealing with a little bit of a cold, guys, so bear with me. But I'm going to be okay. Just a little under the weather, but I'm good. I battle through the show. I full strength or not. I've done it before. The other one I like, and this is as a home dog, I'm like, huh? I love Missouri getting 7 at home. I'm like, listen, A&M, I know they're good. Do you guys forget Missouri's 2 losses were to Vanderbilt and Alabama? All by 1 score, mind you. Okay? I do think Missouri's better than people are giving them credit for. Okay? I know they're out. Missouri's going to put up a fight. Now, A&M is really good. I know. But 7 points in Missouri? Give me the 7 with Missouri. I'm not saying A&M's going to get upset. I'm not saying that. But Missouri's 2 games they lost were close games. Like, come on. Come on, guys. Like, you really think A&M's going to blow them out the doors? No. I'll prove it to you right now. Let me get the scores in front of me. Okay? 27-24, 17-10. 1 possession games. Give me Mizzou, man, with the 7. A&M's got a tough game. I don't think it's this week, but, you know, again, it's not going to be that easy for them. And Marcel Reed, he could be inconsistent, man. He could be inconsistent. I like Mizzou getting the points. So let's recap the plays. Mississippi State getting the 9.5 at home against Georgia. Georgia's looking ahead to Texas. Iowa Hawkeyes getting the 6.5, and I guarantee they're going to beat Oregon this weekend. And I'm taking Missouri, home dog, plus a 7. That's my college football plays for this weekend. Now let's get to the NFL, where I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't love a lot this weekend. But it's actually a quiet weekend because the Chiefs bandwagons are off. The Dallas Cowboys and the Cincinnati Bengals are off, the two worst defenses, which makes me go, I can't bet this week because I would love the over in both of their games. So that sucks. So you're like, Rich, do you have any plays this week? I'll tell you some I like. I wrote some down on the card. We have some that are leaning. Then we have some that we like. Let's start off with tonight's game, the Raiders and the Broncos. The Broncos are 9.5-point favorites at home to the Raiders. The over and under is listed at 42.5. I think Bo Nix and company handled this team. I don't think the Raiders defense is any bit good. If the Jaguars scored on them, I think the Broncos will have their way. Sean Payton knows we have a chance to go play the Chiefs twice and take the division. But you got to win the games that you have right now to lead up to this moment. Denver, though, I warn you, this could be a little bit of a trap game because you play the Chiefs off the bye. So Sean Payton knows if we can get out early, pull the starters in the fourth, get ready for a big AFC West showdown against Kansas City. I like Denver. They're going to have to win pretty much early. I like them 31-14. Denver beats the Raiders. They're not good. Denver cruises to 8-2, and they go play the Chiefs next Sunday, which that's a game that is going to be very interesting. Mile high, give me the Broncos. Starting off in Berlin on Sunday, the Falcons to take on the Colts, where the Colts are 6.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 48.5 points. What did I tell you guys a little bit last week? I said New England's going to sweat with Atlanta, right? And then I thought they were going to pull away late, which kind of happened, just not the score I had last week. Daniel Jones looked awful against the Steelers defense that I have been told by a friend who I'm trying to get on this program soon that the Steelers defense sucks. Well, Mike Tomlin said, hold my beer. He heard the noise. Now, the Falcons defense is actually pretty good against the pass with Jeff Ulbrich. The one thing the Colts can do well, they can run the football with Jonathan Taylor. Now, I do think this game, the Colts will cover. Let me give you one reason why I would lean Atlanta with the 6.5. I'm curious to see if it gets raised up into the weekend. Daniel Jones struggles against really good defensive coordinators. And I think Jeff Ulbrich is going to make the Colts have to beat him with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones looked awful against the Steelers. Mind you, he fell off the magic carpet. It's over. Okay? I really like the Colts to win the game. I would not blame you, though, if you took Atlanta plus 6.5. I really wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't love it. I'd lean it. If it got to 7.5, I'm like, let's do it. But you're like, Rich, the score you have is going to be pretty much saying that is going to go against what you're saying. However, I can be honest too, okay? I have the Colts 24-16 on the Falcons. I just don't know how Michael Penix is going to score. Drake London, I think Lou Anarumo is going to have a plan for him. Not like Zach Kerr did anything. Patriots DC, for those of you that don't know. Filling in for Terrell Williams. I feel like Lou Anarumo is not going to let Drake London beat him. I think Bijan might have a tough time with this defense, which worries me. Even though I'm out in fantasy, I'm going to get to somebody later that's playing this weekend. I just think the Colts have their way. against Atlanta. I feel like they're going to run the ball a little bit with Taylor. If they can get the run game going, they're going to win the game. Give me the Colts with Jonathan Taylor to win 24-16. It will be a close game because weird shit happens overseas. The Bills travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins, where the Bills are 9.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 50.5. I think in all seriousness, this is a blowout game. However, again, I could see a scenario where you do take Miami with the 9.5. I can see a scenario. Why, you ask? Because think about this. Buffalo's coming off an emotional win against the Chiefs. Okay? Close game. There is some slight bit of regression. Miami played them tough in Buffalo week 3. Okay? I expect Josh Allen and company to win this game and blow out Miami. I think Miami's been a sinking ship this whole season. And I think them offloading Jalen Phillips doesn't surprise me. I also think that, again, they are going to hang 34 points. I do think this is a blowout type game. I do. I just think there is a small part that makes me think Buffalo downplays competition. Miami played really tough in Buffalo week 3. And I think once Buffalo's in that rhythm, they're going to score. Miami, though, with Waddle staying, I do think they could maybe get the over. Maybe. I could see the over possibly hitting. I just think Buffalo right now with that running game and Allen, who right now is the front runner for league MVP. That's fine. I told you. He did beat Mahomes. He has a good shot at that. I do think they handle Miami. Miami can't stop anybody. They will have their way. The only thing I would say is Buffalo's coming off a big win against Kansas City at home. They are due for a little bit of a letdown, and they usually downplay competition, and Miami played them really tough week 3 in Buffalo on a short week. Plus, Miami had the mini bye. But Bills win, 34-13. The Ravens travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, where the Ravens are 4.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 49.5 points. Okay, now I have 2 plays that might be interesting in this game. Now you're like, Rich, are you crazy? Maybe. I wouldn't blame you if you took the over. I will say I'm a little worried about J.J. McCarthy because, again, I know he looked good against the Lions, but here we go again. Looked great against a division rival, first game back. Forget what you saw last week, because what happened when J.J. McCarthy played a road game against a division rival and then went back home? He sucked. However, the Ravens' defense is not great. I think they're going to have a hard time with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. I do think they're going to score a bit. I don't think that JJ will outdo Lamar. I don't. I have the Ravens winning. However, I want to give one more nugget to this. The only reason I would take Minnesota plus 4.5 is Brian Flores has some secret recipe for Lamar Jackson that always makes him not really as good as he is sometimes. Why do I bring that up? Do you remember about 4 years ago on that Thursday night game when the Ravens traveled to Miami and we wrote Miami off early in that season? What exactly did Brian Flores do against Lamar Jackson? He said, I'm going to send the dogs on you and you better block them, because we're not letting you leave the pocket and we're going to find you in the backfield and we're going to sack you every single time and force you to make a mistake. Brian Flores will overwhelm the offensive line with multiple people blitzing. And I think that's the one guy that Lamar Jackson struggles with. He's 1-1 against Flores in his career. He beat him his first game in Miami. Granted, Miami that year was awful. That was the tank for 2 a year. Flores got him back 2 years later in 2021. And then against the Steelers, I want to say, as a linebackers coach, I don't count that per se. So, again, I don't think that I should factor that in. And then he hasn't played them with the Vikings much. But give me the Ravens to win 30-23. I will say this, though. I wouldn't blame you for taking the 4.5 with the Vikings. I really wouldn't, because Brian Flores has his number. Give me the Ravens 30-23 on the Vikings. And I lean the over, because I think both teams will score. My Patriots travel to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The over and under is listed at 48.5 points. Or as I like to call it, the Tom Brady Bowl. Good one, right? Guys, I have loved what I'm seeing from my Patriots, albeit they have beaten one good team this year, and that's the Bills. Drake May is looking great. Really good shot to win league MVP. Mike Vrabel's got a good shot to win Coach of the Year. However, guys, as bad as I want to say that I want to pick my team to win, I'm not a delusional Chiefs bandwagon fan that thinks we're going to beat everybody, that thinks we're above everybody just because we have one guy. I'm not delusional Knicks fans after they win one playoff game. I'm not delusional Dallas Cowboy fans. And no pun intended, no shade thrown at my cousin Nikki, my Uncle Al, not even cousin Frankie. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not taking my Patriots to win this weekend. I'm not doing it. I think this is the game we lose. Because Todd Bowles has had 2 weeks to prepare for this kid. I think that Tampa is banged up a little bit. I am very curious to see if Bucky Irving plays. Godwin, I'm not expecting to play. Ibuka's a little nicked up. Baker Mayfield's been playing great. I know they haven't looked good the last 2 games. I think this team, though, is still really good. I will remind you also this. The Patriots' offense second half against Atlanta gave me a huge cause for concern in the second half. And even defensively, they didn't look that good. Gonzo, if he don't play, I'm leaning towards really thinking we're going to lose this game. Kayshon Boutte, if he's out, Kyle Williams, you better be ready to step up, dude. I don't know if he's ready for his first game to step up in that role. I have major concerns there. I think they can hang close. I'm just hoping that this kid does not get himself out of the MVP talk yet after one game. And I know Daniel Jones got out of it because he lost to the Steelers and he threw 4 turnovers. I just don't want this kid to be out of MVP talk shit because I did bet $1.26 before the Bills game on him to win MVP at plus 7,500. And I'm actually hoping that hits. However, I think his stock will still be good. I don't think the Patriots win the game. And I'm not delusional like Chiefs bandwagons, like Mahomes bandwagons, like Ohio State bandwagons, like Alabama bandwagons, like Knicks fans, like Cowboy fans. I'm not delusional. I'm not saying all Knicks fans and Cowboy fans are delusional, but there are some. I'm not that. Even the Warriors bandwagons with KD and Curry back in the day, nope, not doing it. We're going to lose this game, 27-24. I think the only win for me would be if they hang close and they're lucky to maybe get something to go their way. But I have to be honest, I can't pick them to win every game. I'm a realist. I'm a little worried with that offensive line against Bulls blitzing us. And Todd Bowles, 2 weeks to prepare. Yeah, I don't know about this. I got Tampa. Baker Mayfield wins 27-24. Giants travel to Chicago to take on the Bears, where the Giants are getting 4.5 on the road. The over and under is listed at 46.5 points. I know Jackson Darts looked really good. Can I say one thing first? and I'm sorry if people don't like when I curse on this show. Fuck you, Roma Dunze. You fucking sold me fantasy twice this year because you score 0 fucking points against the Bengals, who are the worst defense outside of the Dallas Cowboys. 0! So, I've realized the NFC North has not been kind to me in fantasy this year. Jameson Williams, Matthew Golden, Roma Dunze, you fucking 3. I'm out on all of you next year in fantasy. So fuck all 3 of yous for selling me multiple weeks in fantasy. You have no excuse to not go off. But then I'm like, you know what? I don't know why Ben Johnson just completely abandoned his good receivers. I don't know why. And if anybody does get targeted, it's anybody but a Dunze. So, fuck you guys. I do think the Bears win 31-20. I just think the Giants defense is going to have a hard time. Caleb Williams should go off. I just feel like, again, guys, the Giants' injuries are just too much for them to overcome. They could win this game. I mean, Drake May won in Chicago last year around this time. He did. But I just feel like Caleb Williams, he's Jekyll and Hyde sometimes. They should win this game. I expect the Bears to win this game. 31-20, Chicago beats the Giants. Saints travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers, where the Panthers are 5.5-point favorites. The over-and-under is listed at 39.5 points. I love Carolina to win. I think they really got some confidence going for them. And I think that win against Green Bay and Lambeau, that's a win that could maybe spark the second half of your season. And I really like if they can get on a roll, and boy, they could be in the hunt. They can be in the hunt. I mean, you got Atlanta once more. You got Tampa Bay twice. You got the Saints again. You're going to have to win some games, man, to make a shot at a wild card. The NFC right now, Seattle, Rams, Niners are all going to beat up at each other. They're all good teams, though. Green Bay Lions both look a little shaky right now. You got Tampa to battle in the division. You got 2 shots at them. The East is really the Eagles to lose at this point. You have a shot, Carolina. But you got to beat the Saints, though. I expect you to. Saints are horrible. And I think they get right. I have their defensive fantasy this week, even though I'm done. I don't even care about my team. I literally quit on them. 31-13, Carolina, Bryce Young and company move to 6-4. And the Panthers keep rolling. Cleveland Browns travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the Jets, where the Browns are 1.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 37.5 points. Why do I feel like Cleveland is going to have this weird game where they're going to get over 30 and the Jets are just going to be in, like, non-lifeless on offense? I mean, Jim Schwartz is looking at Dylan Gabriel going, oh, we're going to have a field day on him. Myles Garrett, if he got 5 sacks on Drake May, is he on pace to break the single-game sack record against the Jets? I mean, goddamn, they are, they're bad. Especially now trading away both Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams on defense. And Quincy Williams got benched. Lean the over, maybe. I know the Browns have their own problems on offense. I like the Browns to win 30-16 on the Jets. They might even get a defensive touchdown because the Jets offense is atrocious. Aaron Glenn, really rough first year. I like the Browns 30-16 on the Jets, and they handle them convincingly. Not even spending much more time on this. Jaguars travel to Houston to take on the Texans, where the Texans are getting 1.5 at home. The over and under is listed at 37.5. Now, Davis Mills is in this week over C.J. Stroud because C.J. Stroud got hurt against the Denver Broncos. So that means that's why the total is low. That's why the Texans are getting 1.5. I like the Jaguars, but this is a really smelly line. I think the Jaguars should win this game, 19-13. I think that the Texans' offense is going to struggle. They can't protect Davis Mills. They're going to have a hard time running the football on him. Trevor Lawrence is not what everybody seems to think he is. I've said this for a couple weeks now. I kind of like this game to be an under. I wouldn't bet it. That's just my pick, though, what I like. Texans are going to hang tough. I just think the Jaguars in the end have enough gas to win this game. 19-13, Jaguars beat the Texans in this ball game. Jaguars continue to roll and stay ahead of the Chiefs in the wild card spot. Cardinals travel to Seattle to take on the Seahawks, where the Seahawks are 6.5-point favorites. Over and unders at 45.5. Sorry, 45.5. I picked the Cowboys last week. I guaranteed it. I know. I took some heat. I am double downing against the Arizona Cardinals because big win Monday night. They got to travel back across the country to Seattle, halfway across. Short week. Seattle coming all the way from, I think it's FedEx Field, against Washington, dominated the doors off them. This team, guys, I'm telling you right now, I think this team has a real shot as a wild card to make a deep run. If Sam Darnold stays hot, they're a really good team. The only reason I wouldn't lay the 6.5 is the Cardinals have played really close in all their games. Jacoby Brissett is starting. And Kyler Murray is on IR. And I want to say one thing, okay? There's a certain individual out there who does nothing but play his games instead of watching actual NFL football and only watches his one team. I want to say one thing to him real quick. And his brother was on Tuesday. I don't ever want to hear you compare Kyler Murray to Drake May ever again. Because Kyler Murray low-key might be out of Arizona after this season. So I want you to throw that take away and pretend that it never came in my mind and it never existed. You know who you are. You'll never be on lounge time. You know why? Because you want to talk about video game metas, which I'm sorry, we don't do that on the show. Yeah, I didn't name him. All I know is his brother was on the show Tuesday for the NFL trade deadline. And I'm going to leave it at that. He knows who he is. I'm not name dropping anybody. But I'm guaranteeing Seattle Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals 34-16. They are going to handle this team. This is the first game Brissett and company lose by more than one score. I like Seattle. JSN's rolling. They got Shaheed. That I think is going to help their offense a ton in their deep vertical game. Their running backs are solid. The defense is playing great. All things say, take Seattle 34-16. Arizona, they beat up on the bad teams, suck against the good teams. I love it that way. Lions travel to Washington to take on the Commanders, where the Lions are 7.5-point favorites on the road. The over and unders at 49.5. The only reason I would take the over is because I think the Lions have a legit shot to drop 41 on this team. Because the Commanders' defense is awful. Marshawn Lattimore, I believe he's done for the year. They are decimated in the secondary. Jaden Daniels, hope he comes back. Unfortunately, the Vin curse got the best of him. I didn't want to bring it up with Vinny on Tuesday because it's not fair to him. We won't make him suffer, okay? Now, for particular Giant fans, oh no. Not in the playoffs when you wanted to talk shit. My buddy Vinny don't talk shit. Trust me. I wouldn't do that to Vinny. I wouldn't do that. Good guy. He wants to come back on lounge time, by the way. We're working that out. But this is a domination game. 41-16 Lions. They're going to have their way. Either running Gibbs, deep vertical game. I would think Jameson Williams is going to go off. I don't know, because they say they're going to get more targets, and then he's ass. We share the same players in fantasy that just suck. But anyway, Jameson Williams, you sold me 2 weeks every time I started you, and I'm not starting you unless I have to. So you can ride the bench, buddy. You are not starting my fantasy lineup. You sold me 2 games this year. Combined 3 points you score. You're never touching the field for me. 41-16, Lions beat the Commanders. Sorry, guys, I'm battling a cold right now. That's why you saw me throw the tissue earlier. My garbage pail's over there. Sorry. Trying to fight through cold here. Not bad, though. It's just good news. Rams travel to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. They are 4.5-point favorites on the road. The over and under is listed at 49.5 points. So, here's what I don't get. The Rams lost at home to the Niners earlier in the season when the Niners were decimated at injuries. All at receiver. It was just Christian McCaffrey. The Niners have lost both of their top edge rushers. Juwan Jennings is back healthy. Pearsall may be healthy. Mac Jones, Brock Purdy. We don't know who's going to start. It might be Mac Jones Sunday. Mac Jones beat the LA Rams. Kendrick Bourne had a game from the blast of the past with the 2019 Niners and the 2021 Patriots where I'm like, holy smokes! What the hell? Plus, Kyle Shanahan has his way with Sean McVay in the regular season. And Sean McVay has dropped one on him now, where he's lost the game. I don't blame him for that loss. I actually respected the decision to go for it on 4th and 1. They got stopped. Tip your cap, though. Niners defense is still really good. Robert Saile, hell of a coordinator. Vegas, I don't do this often. I think you have the wrong team favored this week. Rams beat up on the Saints, and they have looked good. I'm not betting against Sean McVay. I'm looking at a trend, though, that I'm like, well, there's one guy that's had his way with him in the regular season that I'm going, he hasn't really split matchups a lot with him. And it seems to be the Rams' house of horrors where things just somehow, some way don't go right. And now Robert Salah is going to be there at DC. Well, he's been there this year. What I'm saying, now he's back. I love the Niners as home dogs. Give me the 4.5 with the Niners. I think they win. I think they win a close one. I think it's 27-23. I think the Rams defense, secondary-wise, is a little shaky. Shanahan's got some plays in his bag that I think they're going to exploit. And I think the Niners win as home dogs. And I think the over just cashes at 49.5. And I like the Niners to win and sweep the LA Rams. Get a big win in the division. 27-23 on the Rams. Shanahan has his way with Sean McVay, guys. I'm going to take it. Let's go to Sunday night, where the Steelers travel to LA to take on the Chargers, where the Chargers are 3-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 45.5 points. I don't like doing this 2 weeks in a row, but you guys claim I don't take upsets. How are the Chargers favored by 3 in this game? Steelers have off a big emotional win against the Colts. The Chargers lost both Joel and Rashawn Slater for the year, both of their tackles. Do we forget what they were like when they could not protect Justin Herbert? I remember. They looked awful. To the well we go, ladies and gentlemen. Guaranteed that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to upset the LA Chargers. And no, your defense is not ass. I'm going with the Steelers 27-20. Aaron Rodgers has his way. The Steelers pull off an upset. They win 27-20 because the Chargers can't block. They're not going to be able to run the ball well. Herbert might throw a couple touchdowns, but they're not blocking TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. They're not doing it. They're going to struggle. And I like Jim Harbaugh, but they're going to struggle. 27-20, Steelers upset the Chargers. Now let's go to Monday night. Eagles travel to Lambeau Field to take on the Packers, where the Packers are 2.5-point favorites. The over and under is listed at 45.5 points. Ooh. You know what, man? Green Bay's looking a little shaky right now. They didn't look good at home. They got a lot of time to go over their game plan of what went wrong against the Panthers. But the Eagles are a different animal. And I know people are mad they're benefiting from calls and shit, which I'm not knocking them. I'm not. I'm just saying how it is. I think Vic Fangio is going to make Jordan Love struggle. And I'm going to hear it from like one of my friends, if he still watches the show. I don't think he does anymore, which sucks. He gave me shit last year for taking Green Bay to beat the Eagles when they were up in Brazil week 1 last year. He gave me shit for it. I was like, listen, man, I got to pick against somebody once in a while. So you know what? If he's still watching, he's probably not. I'm going to take the Eagles to beat the Packers because I don't like the way Green Bay's looking. I think the Eagles right now, off a bye, hopefully they've got their offense solved. I don't think they do. I think Green Bay's going to frustrate them a lot this game. I got the Eagles 26-23 on the Packers. I do think the Eagles defense is going to get a takeaway or two on Jordan Love. They're going to get after him with their pass rush. I love the Jalen Phillips signing with Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith coming back. They have reinforcements on the way. Jair Alexander plays his old team too. Eagles win 26-23 on the Packers. Now, quickly, I'm going to go over my plays. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to beat the LA Chargers. I love the 3 points on the road. Give me the points with the Steelers. The Niners, give me the 4.5 against the LA Rams. I think the Niners have an upset. I like the Niners to upset the Rams. Give me the 4.5 with the Niners. Small plays now. Lean Miami with the 9.5. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I think they're going to hang a little bit, and then Buffalo's just going to take over. But give me the 9.5 a little bit. A little interest there. 4.5 with Minnesota. I mentioned Brian Flores has Lamar Jackson's number. I'm not saying Minnesota's going to win, but J.D. McCarthy, their only hope is they can score with the Ravens, which I think they will. I do think, though, the Ravens, in all honesty, cover, but small money. Give me the Minnesota Vikings plus 4.5. And the Atlanta Falcons give me plus 6.5. Small play on the Colts because I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be that good against Jeff Ulbricht's defense. So 3 small plays, 2 guarantees that I love. Now, let's go to Survivor. I had planned to take Denver if I was still alive because I think Denver handles the Raiders. But then one pick might have made its case, and I'm like, well, I would do this maybe. But I think for those of you that are in Survivor, you probably would agree with the 2 teams I've got for you. The Broncos and the Panthers are by far and away the best 2 choices. Now, the question for you is to decide, can you get either one of these teams later in the season if you're still alive? Who are you going to pick, Rich? Well, let's look at the schedules for both of these teams because I did not actually look at it this week. And I'm going to look right now. And sorry, guys, once again, sorry, I'm battling a little bit of a cold because it's around that time, sadly. But I'll be fine. I'm tough. Don't worry. Let's look at Denver's schedule first briefly. Let's look briefly. Sorry, guys. They are rolling. Okay? I don't see a really easy game for them other than at Washington, which I think is maybe your best game with them. That if you wanted to save, this would be the game. And then Carolina, I know there's some games they could win, but they're all on the road. You'd rather get them at home, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I even look at Carolina and I'm like, well, this is tough, man, right? So who would you say, Rich, do you feel like is your guarantee Survivor pick this week? You can't go wrong with any of these guys. But I'm going to take Denver against the Raiders. I think Denver's schedule is a little more tougher. I think Carolina, you can get them in Saints. I think they'll be fine. I think if you want to take Carolina this week, I wouldn't follow you. I know they cost some people that probably took Green Bay and Survivor. Sorry about that, but I don't think anybody expected that. I like the Broncos as my Survivor pick. For those of you still alive, as my one confident lock. I like the Broncos as my number one choice. I like Carolina as a close second. Because Carolina is going to New Orleans. They're going to Atlanta. You got to look at both of those matchups a little bit. And if they beat the Saints, you got another shot to go get them again later. I like Denver to win because I think this is the easiest game left on their schedule. I know they go to Vegas, which you could get them in theory. Me personally, though, you never know if they're going to rest guys at all. That's why I'm saying take Denver now. So I like Denver. They're home. I think this is their easiest game left on their schedule. I think you can get Carolina later. Give me the Broncos for Survivor. So that's it, guys. Those are the college football Week 11 plays, NFL Week 10 plays for this weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Heck, even comment something down below. Trust me, I will respond to comments, even though they're mostly dominated by Johan, who loves the show. We'll get him on soon. All right? But hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Comment something down below. That way you guys can get all the latest content for the NFL season. We are going to have more guests. It is just picking up steam. Okay? We're going to have a great second half worth of content. We're going to have some guest interviews. We're going to have some fun. Stick around because this second half of the season, we're cooking up something really good. All right? You can also follow us on Rumble. We finally solved the technical difficulties. We have episodes now rolling on Rumble. We got a new subscriber last Thursday. Shout out to them for joining the Lounge Time family, even though I don't know if this person is just absolutely loving the content and glazing us too much. We'll take it, though. All right? So we're trying to build a community over there on Rumble, bring a new audience in. Thank you to that subscriber that joined us on the Lounge Time family. So we're trying to build something on Rumble. You can follow us there as well. You can also follow me at Lounge Time Pod on X, where I will respond to questions on the show if you tweet me, okay? Now, I will respond. It's going to have to wait, though, till Monday night after the Eagles-Packers game because I want to talk about that game on Monday night along with a bunch of other stuff. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys Monday night after the Eagles-Packers game. Hopefully this cold will go away by then. I'll see you guys Monday night after the game.